What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about a big scam that's affecting dealers as well as consumers. Now, the worst part of this scam is you realize you're not in trouble till they've actually scammed you twice. Usually when people go car shopping, they drive down to the strip where there's all these little dealerships. They walk up and down, take a look at a few of them. They also pull out the old Auto Trader book. But now you can look at thousands of vehicles online with just a few clicks. And then on top of that, you can check out vehicles from all across the world. Now, during the pandemic, it really pushed the movement forward to buy and sell cars 100% online. Now, this was a good thing and a bad thing because at any new industry, there's always scammers and con artists willing to jump on that bandwagon. And that's where today's story falls into. So I have a private Discord group with a bunch of automotive professionals, and we're always talking about what's currently going on in the market. And one of our guys in Atlanta was talking about how he was getting scammed and there's all these crazy things going down. Well, as he started to tell his story, other dealers from across the United States started chiming in saying they've seen something similar. So I wanted to share this on the channel to make sure you can protect yourself from some of these future scams. So my buddy Robert owns a used car dealership in Atlanta, Georgia. And one day he had a customer show up that was very upset that he didn't take delivery of his 2019 Dodge Challenger. So he asked for Robert specifically by name. So Robert came down there, asked the gentleman, "How can I help you?" He went on saying, "Hey, look, man," he goes, "you guys ran the numbers. I was approved. I sent my deposit. You guys were supposed to drop off my car last week and you never did. What's going on?" So he told me, he's like, "Well, which salesman were you talking to?" And he says, "I was talking to you, Robert." And he's like, "Are you sure?" He goes, "I don't remember our conversations." He's like, "Yeah." He pulls out his phone. He's like, "Look, here's the conversation we had on Facebook." He sees that the picture is him. It's got pictures of his kids on his profile, says he works at his dealership, all this stuff, but it's not Robert's profile. It's a scammer basically acting like him. And that's the moment Robert knew that the customer was scammed. He was told to run an online credit app. Once he was approved, they would let him know how much money he had to put down. They said, "Congratulations, you're approved. Here's a link, pay $5,000, and we'll go ahead and deliver the car straight to you at no costs and finish the final paperwork upon delivery." So the customer went, signed online, sent his $5,000 deposit, never heard anything back. So as Robert proceeded to tell the customer this, the customer thought that Robert, the dealership, was trying to screw him out of the money. They figured that they were lying, they were con artists, because like I said, remember, everybody feels that dealers are awful people and con artists and we do all this bad stuff. And so they literally ran to the cops. He called the news, told them he was screwed over. But at the end of the day, it took about 2 weeks for the dust to settle and the customer realized that he was taken advantage of. Unfortunately, these online scams do happen, but they are very rare. You don't hear about them very often. But literally the week after they closed that case, another person showed up wanting to pick up their car with this similar story, except this time they took $10,000. So once again, he had to actually call the police, file a report, and the customer had to go chase their money to see if they can get it back. And the next day, they got 2 phone calls from people out of state saying that they sent money, that they were told their cars were going to be delivered in about 2 weeks, and they never received the cars. And they're wondering where they're at. So they saw that this thing was getting out of hand, that there's a lot of people getting screwed over. So what they did was they put disclaimers all over their websites, all over their social media, and they told people, if you're going to do a deal with us, please call the number that's actually on our website. Don't do anything online. And so they had to do a bunch of things to basically protect their customers. But the damage was done, unfortunately, to their reputation of their dealership. They had a bunch of negative reviews of people that, thought they were getting screwed over by the dealership, but really scammed with these online crooks. So the customers are busy filing the police reports, trying to figure out how they got scammed. The dealerships are trying to, clean up their reputations and figure out how they are getting scammed. The scammers themselves are actually out there purchasing cars with the customer's information. Now remember, a lot of these scammers act like dealers. And when you go to buy a car, we ask you for a copy of your driver's license, your social security, all your basic information to go out and buy a vehicle. So now these crooks have all your personal information, plus you sent them a down payment. They're taking your credit, buying another car, and using your money to put money down on this other vehicle. Once they get this car, they're either going to drive it and have fun with it, or they may chop it up and use it for parts, or they're doing revends or some sort of other scam. You could see them on Facebook groups, a bunch of people selling cars with no titles. This is what these people do to rip people off. So it's a very complicated two-level scam that's tricking lots of dealers and consumers. Now these scams, once again, are typically very rare, but now that we're sharing this in our Discord channel, we're getting multiple dealers in multiple states complaining of the exact same thing. Now you may be wondering, why is all this scamming becoming so popular? It's all because of the stupid rules of the pandemic. You're able to buy cars online without even seeing them. They can deliver them. Where back in the day, you had to come to my dealership, you had to sign the paperwork, and then I can give you the car. I've had friends that actually try to do nice things and help deliver a car to an elderly customer or do something, because the customer is out of state, and the DMV fined them for signing paperwork outside of their actual office. I don't know why, but it's some sort of legal precedence where they can actually unwind the deal because they didn't sign it on your lot. Banks put out so many stupid rules during the pandemic. Now, typically we would ask for your ID, but they took that away because they don't want to know if you're black, white, Mexican, or Asian, because they don't want to be considered racist if they give you a higher interest rate. They don't want your proof of income because they know you're getting stimulus money, and they can't put that in their underwriting because it's only temporary income. And the last all is just sheer overall greed. They knew if they pumped out more loans, they could sell a lot of this bad debt to other banks or the government, and everything would be all right. The money would just keep flowing. And all these things culminated into a perfect breeding ground for all these scammers to get into the auto industry. Now, I'd like to sit here and tell you that this will probably be the last video on some of these scams, but every time we figure a new one out, there's always more coming. But that's why I want to put this out here, because even though it's a little bit of a problem now, watch, in about a month or two, you're going to start seeing this stuff all over the news. So a few things to do to protect yourself. One, physically go into the dealership, look at the car, do the application in person. Now, if the dealership is out of state, Google their names, find their website, make sure that the website matches the actual names, go back and forth, and then actually call the number on there and talk to a sales rep just to make sure that you're actually getting a real dealership with real people. A lot of the DMVs, you can go to the DMV website and run the dealership's name to see if they're actually licensed and still in business, because some of these scammers will use dealerships that went out of business. So be very, very careful. Double check those things, and you shouldn't have any problems with purchasing a car. But I want to thank you guys so much again for watching. What do you guys think of some of the crazy scams that are out there now? If you guys have any new ones, please put in my comment section. I'd love to share it with the group. Also, if you've enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. We're on the road to 500K. Also, follow me on Instagram at Lucky Lopez, and we'll see you next video.